Hi, I'm back. Okay, this will be the last in our lectures on tables. This is number 3 of 3. This is also going to be known as, I think, file number 5, okay? We're going to get back to the tables that we were just dealing with. I showed you a moment ago on these objects that we call tables, how to create one manually. And in my previous lecture, I showed you how to create one just by taking existing data in a range and then highlighting it and creating a table. You can click Insert on the top line you see up there. Insert Table. You can also hold Control and hit T. It will do the same thing. If you're on an Apple instead of a PC, the key to hold would be Command. Command T. And those will all achieve getting a table put in for you, whether you create one based on pre-existing ranges like we did earlier, or like we just did manually by putting in this table down here, the little blue one. Whether you like to see, whether you like to create a table from scratch and then input your data, because using a table makes inputting data much easier, okay? Many times you might choose to use the table because of that ease of input to enter your data, create a table, enter data, 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 and then change it so it's not a table anymore, and now use that new data to reformat and present to your boss in a report or create a PowerPoint slide, something like that. Okay, now I'll tell you what, I'm not crazy about blue, so I'm just going to take this table that you see right here and I'm going to give it a different appearance. Okay, I'm going to come over here and choose maybe, how about green? Green's a little bit better. Okay, I get a better contrast of my blue font that I love to use so much with the background. Okay, so remember, whenever you want to change an appearance, come up, click on the Table tab, and just select. Down here where you see all these different formats that are available to you, all right, just knock yourself out and pick one, okay? I think there are about 40 or 50 of them to choose from, so there should be more than enough. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to show you that this table, being an object, can be moved, it can be copied, it can be pasted like any other object. Now you see what I just did there? Okay, I placed my cursor anywhere up here in the header column that says last, and I click on that one little southwest pointing arrow that you see up here there. Okay, that's only going to happen when you're in the first column of a table in the upper left. If you can't see my cursor, if it's not appearing, just go into that one green header that says last and put your cursor in as far in the upper left as you can, and the cursor will turn into a little black southeast downward pointing arrow. Click on it, and what I've just done by doing that is I've highlighted my entire range. Okay? I can copy it, so I'm going to right click and hit copy, left click. Okay? Now you can see, I think, those little fuzzy dotted lines are going around that table. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fresh page and carry this table over onto it and show you a neat trick in the meantime. So go down, way down to the lower left of your Excel spreadsheet where it says sheet number 1, and I'm going to click on the plus sign and insert a brand new sheet like we did in badge number 1 in one of our video lectures. Okay, there's a brand new page in this worksheet. I'm going to place my cursor here. How about cell D12? All right. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit paste, left click. And my table appears there. And you might say to yourself, wait a minute, there's a table there? Yes, there is. Now here's the trick I mentioned a moment ago that I'm going to show you. Okay. Now this doesn't have just to do with tables. This has to do with your regular column width as well. If I want to change the width of a column, all I have to do is come up here and I'm going to go into this row that says all my letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. Now when I bring my cursor onto the right border of that cell header D, I double click the left button, and what it's going to do is it's going to look down and find the longest occurrence. In this case it's Dr. Rooney's name. Okay, that's the longest word that appears in this column. And it's going to resize the column accordingly. Let's try it again with the first name. I go to column E, the header. All right, I move the cursor to the right until it becomes a little line with double arrows going through it. I double left click and the width adjusts. I'll do that for columns F and G as well. Isn't that a cool trick? All right, very good. And of course, if you want to get rid of this column because we really don't need it, I no longer need it, I'm just going to select it. Okay, by the way, it is a table. I copied the object, not just the data in the table originally, but this new object that I've created here by copy and pasting is itself a table. Okay, so I'm just going to right click, I'm going to hit delete. Okay, and it didn't work, hang on, bear with me 1 second. Let's try that again. Okay, and I'm just going to hit OK, and everything vanishes. Okay? All right, very good. So let's go back to my first sheet. I'm going to go down to the lower left. I'm going to click on sheet number 1. Okay? All right, very good. So I'm not going to be using this, this table anymore. Now, by the way, watch that. I click that little southwest pointed arrow and only my lines of data highlighted. I click it a second time, and this time the column headers, I should say, highlighted as well. Okay? So I'm just going to delete all that data. I just punched the delete button that time. Remember, Microsoft always seems to give you more than one way to do what it is you're trying to do. All right. Now I want to point something else out to you. Here's another cool trick. Anytime that you're in a table, I just clicked in the table and my table tab reappeared at the top. All right, I'm going to scroll down and I want you to watch what happens to all my headers, A, B, C, D, E, my column heading letters at the top. I'm going to scroll down and you notice what happened? They don't say B, C, D, E, F, G anymore. As soon as I scrolled so my column headers were out of sight, that row where the letters normally are took over and it superimposed my column headers onto those columns instead of the regular letters. As long as I'm in the table, it will do that. They reappear when I leave the table. Okay, so now I scroll, they don't change. If I'm in the table and scroll, they change. That's a handy little feature to have. Okay, so when you have a huge table and have to scroll off screen, you won't make yourself crazy by having to say, now wait a minute, is that the column for FICA or is that the column for salary? Okay? All right, very good. Now, I'm in the table, so my little table tab is still visible up here on the green bar. So what I'm going to do, I'm just checking my time here, folks, is I'm going to click on it and look at some of my choices. I showed you how to use a total row before. Okay? Now, I want to show you this. I'm going to convert to a range. I'm in the table, and if I click on Convert to Range, what does that do? All right, I want to take everything that's in my table and say, I don't want it to be a table anymore. I'm done with tabling. I'm done with its fast data entry that it gives me. I just want it to be a range. I click on Yes. Okay, and now there's no more table tab. It's gone. This is now, believe it or not, a regular range. All right. I've converted it from being a table to being just data that you'd normally see in cells, in rows, and in columns. All right? I want my table back, however, so I'm going to undo that by clicking on that circular arrow up in the green area, and now my table is back because I've got something else to show you as well. Okay, let's go back to that table tab one more time, and I want you to check out Remove Duplicates. See it right there? Remove Duplicates. Let's go create some duplicates. I don't have any here, but let's take Mr. Leon Redbone right here. Let's say I make a mistake and I enter data a couple of times by mistake. So I'm just going to quickly insert a row. I'm going to copy Mr. Leon Redbone's information. All right, I'm going to copy that row and I'm going to paste it here. All right, now I've got two Leon Redbones, and I'm going to put a third one right here, just for grins. All right, is Leon all the way across? Okay, if you want to hear a funny story someday, come to me and ask me to tell you about my personal adventure with Mr. Leon Redbone. My wife and I met him in Westborough, Massachusetts once, and we had a funny story. Okay, now, what I've done is I've accidentally put Leon Redbone into my table 3 times. Now I'm going to go back up to that tab, Table, Remove Duplicates, okay? And I'm focused on last name, but leave them all checked for now because I want to remove everything. Now, if I find a duplicate, it tells me I found 2 duplicates, okay? 40 unique values will remain. 40 is what I started with, okay? So there are now, I added 2, there were 42 of them, and it found 2 duplicates. I'm going to click on Remove Duplicates and watch. All right. My first Leon Redbone remains, and the other 2 disappeared. All right. Now, let's watch this and see what happens. I'm going to put Leon back. Now I've got 3 Leons, but let's assume that just by sheer coincidence, one of them is actually a different person named Leonora. This time when it does a search, now I'm going to search on last name. Watch this. Okay. Remove duplicates. It found 1. Okay. Because Leonora and Leon are not the same person, so somewhere in all those fields, because I've selected all of them, see here under that little table 1 drop down, everything is selected, and it found Leon 3 places. It found Redbone specifically. Leonora is a different person. So if I just say remove duplicates, it's going to get rid of, okay, it's going to get just rid of 1 Leon and leave Leonora. Okay, but I don't want to do that. I want to get rid of everything that says Redbone. So let's do it one more time. Remove duplicates. Okay. First of all, it only finds 1 duplicate because it finds 2 Leons. All right, so I want to get rid of anyone who's named Redbone who occurs more than once. I want to, in other words, leave the first Leon Redbone and the other 2 Redbones will disappear. I click Select All to turn it off. I'm going to click on Last Name. It's just going to search for a duplication of Redbone, including Leonora. And as you can see this time, once again, it finds 2 duplicates. I click Remove, and all the Redbones disappear except our first original one and only. Okay? All right, very good. I want to close today, friends, by just telling you one thing that you should do throughout all of these videos and all of your badge studies, and anytime you use Excel, my magical 3 words, okay? So please remember this. Always, always, always make sure that you're not afraid to take the time to experiment. Make sure that you're not afraid to take the time to explore, because I can't teach you everything in these videos. No video on Excel can, or any other Microsoft program can. It's simply too vast. Okay? So we want you to go off and explore on your own and try new functions and even write to me. You know how to contact me, and I'll tell you about those functions. And if it's one I don't know, you won't catch me, I will find out and I'll tell you. Thirdly, we experiment, we explore, and make sure, above all, practice, practice, practice. Okay, that is how one becomes a master of any program, specifically here, Microsoft Excel. I hope you found this helpful. I'll very shortly be preparing and posting our first proficiency quiz for badge number 2. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, please make sure that you write to me or contact me otherwise. Some of you can see me in class, or you have my phone number. In the meantime, have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.